So, our lesson today is on nutrition. I want you to think about this right now. What are some of the factors that influence your food choices and your eating patterns? Meaning, why do you pick the foods that you pick to eat? Why do you eat those things? And when I say your eating patterns, how many meals a day do you have? When do you eat those meals? So, I hope you're thinking about this right now. I think a big part of your food choices are you eat what you like, right? Most of the time. Um, but why do you like the things that you like? A lot of it just comes from, you don't really have much of a choice in the matter. Some of it has to do with what foods you were exposed to when you were younger. So a lot of this is just what your parents have exposed you to. It could be a cultural thing. So if you have a certain food that gets cooked in your house that maybe other people don't, obviously you're more inclined to like that food than other people that have never tried it before. You're not going to like anything you've never tried. Or you might until you try it, but you won't know that, of course. So you wouldn't be choosing those things regularly. Or you might be the type of person that tries a brand new type of food every time they go out. You might be someone that's more comfortable. You like the same thing. Oftentimes, just like whatever's in the house is what you're going to wind up eating. So all of those impact your food choices. A lot of it, you don't have a lot of choice in the matter. It's just whatever is being cooked for you. You can, at this point in your life, start to cook some things, right? Especially with some parental supervision, you can start to say, "I like this, and I want to make it because nobody else likes it," and that's cool. It's a really useful skill to know how to cook things, even at a young age. Now, the next thing, your eating patterns. So, how many meals a day do you have? The general guideline recommendation is to have three: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I know there are some people that skip breakfast or some people that have like a really early dinner. They'll combine different meals like that. Kind of doesn't really matter unless you get all of your calories in the day that you need. But you want to make sure, I've always recommended that you have a good breakfast because when you have food inside of you, it helps your brain concentrate and then you're able to be your best when you're working at things like at school. So your eating patterns, like how often you eat and how big your meals are, a lot of that is something that gets passed down from your parents too. So a lot of this is like learned behavior, and you can choose to continue that, or you can go against it. You can like unlearn it if you wanted to. So the food and beverages you eat and drink impact basically all parts of your body. So foods that have positive impact on your body, those would be generally like fresh fruits, vegetables, lean proteins. These are what your bodies need. They need vitamins and minerals, and you want foods that are rich in those vitamins and minerals. You don't want foods that have a negative impact on your body. Those are things that are super high calorie, but don't have a lot of substance to them. So you can eat a lot, but you're not like necessarily feeling full, and there's no vitamins. It's just calories. So all those calories are going to get stored as fat, basically. So you're going to want to write this down. Nutrients are chemical substances. It gives your body what it needs to grow and function properly. So a lot of them just provide energy for daily activities, things that you need. You need a certain amount of these nutrients just to get through the day, just to have a healthy functioning body. Others enable certain critical bodily functions to occur. You can have too much of something, but also have too little of it is dangerous. So here's a perfect example. There's a vitamin called vitamin C. Maybe you've heard about people who got something called scurvy. Scurvy is a disease that happens from a lack of vitamin C. I know this used to be an issue when there were people on like boats that made long boat voyages a long time ago. They would be at risk because there wasn't fresh fruit on the boat, so they wouldn't get enough vitamin C. However, you can have too much of a vitamin. For example, you would never do this, by the way. If you were to eat a polar bear's liver, why would you do that? I don't think you ever would. But if you were to do so, I've heard that you would die from vitamin A overdose. So keep that in mind that too much of a certain thing could be a poison, but a small amount of it could basically be something really good and essential for your body. So it's all in the dosage that you have. Let's talk about the first type of nutrient. The first type of nutrient, major nutrient that we're going to talk about is the carbohydrate, sometimes referred to as a carb. It is a major source of energy. Sugars are called simple carbohydrates. If you want to get fast acting energy, sugar is the best way to go. You get immediate energy. I'm sure a lot of you have felt that kind of sugar rush that you get from eating something like that. And you want to be able to use that energy right away. If you don't, it gets stored as fat. Starches are called complex carbohydrates. So your body breaks carbohydrates down into sugar or glucose to obtain energy. What's good about the starches is that you don't use it right away. So if you eat starches, like if you're eating like breakfast, like oatmeal or cereal in the morning, you may not use those, you may not break down those complex carbohydrates until later on in the day when you really need them. Whereas like the sugar, you're just using immediately. And then you're going to be wind up tired and have a crash later on. And now fiber is really great. Fiber is a tough carbohydrate that your body is not able to actually break down. So if your body can't break it down, why would you have it at all, right? What's the use of it if you can't break it down? Well, it's really good because if you want to feel full, but you don't want to hold on to those calories, that's where fiber comes into play. You can eat it. It counts as part of your daily nutrition, but then your body will pass it through. And then you don't actually fully digest it. You'll just take some of the nutrients that are in there and then it goes right through your body. Actually, fiber is really good too at if you are struggling to release some of the waste that builds up in your body. If you increase your fiber intake, this will help smooth things along and get things out of your body more easily and healthy in a healthy way. There are certain types of diseases that can happen from people that have a lack of fiber in their diet. So it's really important to make sure you have enough fiber. You're going to want to write this down too. Fruits and vegetables are a good source of both vitamins and fiber. So if you're like, how do I get these vitamins? How do I get the fiber? That's one really good healthy type of carbohydrate that you can get is from vegetables. Are there anything else that we want to talk about over here? I think we mostly talked about it. All right, let's go to the second one, nutrient 2, which is protein. So the function of protein is to build and maintain your cells and tissues. These can also provide energy when carbohydrates and fats are lacking in the diet or if they've all been used up. Then you're going to go on and to use your protein that you've eaten. But the protein is really good at restoring muscle. So every single time, let's say that you do a really big workout, let's say anything where you have used your muscles, that's breaking down your muscles. Right? So it's breaking down the tissues and cells that have kept them together. But then what your body starts to do is it starts to repair those. And you do this a lot when you rest. But the only way it's able to actually repair them is it needs something to put it back together. And that's what it uses the protein for. So it basically rebuilds your muscles into bigger, stronger muscles than they were before. And that won't happen if you don't have an adequate amount of protein. You can easily eat too much protein. A lot of people do. Like the general rule of thumb is that a serving size of protein is roughly like the palm of your hand, right? Like something that would fit into there would be like roughly one serving of it. So it's easy to overdo. And if you overdo it, your body it's not a big deal, but your body will store it as fat, which is what your go-to body's response is for a lot of things. So you want to make sure that you definitely have enough protein, that you don't have too little, but you can easily go on too much. And oftentimes protein is mixed. You could have high fat proteins or low fat proteins. And you want to don't go too crazy with having the fattiest cuts of meat that are out there. The leaner you go, the better. So things like eggs and fish and poultry, there's lean types of beef out there. That's going to be in general healthier for you.